All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for a few real people out there just like you, just like me. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications on new videos, and Patreon for $1 a month. I want to thank this German band, Bad Sister, who I had on as a guest last week. Their album, Where Will You Go, arrived today. I think I'm the only person in the state of Florida who owns this. A physical copy. Of course, you can go listen to this, your usual platforms. Female lead singer, a few curveballs here, but this is great melodic rock that you should check out. Give it multiple spins because it gets better and better the more you listen to it. Despite the album cover, it's not apocalyptic in nature, but I really dig this album cover. There it is. Where will you go? It's a good question. Idaho, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, folks, thanks again for watching. Speaking of great melodic rock, apparently Michael Anthony and Sammy Hagar were celebrating the last gasp of melodic rock during the 1990s, which came out in 1995, really about 2 years past their expiration date, and that would be Van Halen's Balance album. Of course, they would release another album with Gary Cherone later on, but quite honestly, this album to me was kind of like the last stand, and Van Halen had like 1 foot in the new scene, trying to placate those people who were listening to Alice in Chains and Soundgarden and all that stuff. But I don't know how you change Van Halen into this grungy, dark band, but they did attempt to do that. Now, the boys themselves posted a nice video from the Jon Stewart show. Boy, 28 years ago. Doesn't really seem plausible, right? Balance was Van Halen's 10th studio album, was released on January 24th, 1995, and was the last to feature Sammy on vocals. It went to #1 on the Billboard 200 album chart, and in 2004 was certified triple platinum. So, again, that's when you heard about platinum albums all the time. The boys talked about the anniversary of the album, saying the Balance record was such a great record, but it was during hard times for the band and a very hard record to make. A lot of painful, dark images, bickering amongst the band, health issues. But he touts the live performance of Amsterdam, a song from the album, which was performed on the Jon Stewart show. And he remarks about how great the band still was as a live performing act. And Anthony adds, by the time Balance came out, there were lots of tension, both professionally and personally within the band. He noted one thing that was understood, though, was that the music was the most important thing. And when we got together to play live, we kicked some serious rear end, be it in concert or guesting on a TV show. He adds, this clip of us on the Jon Stewart show has us still delivering the goods. So it's nice to reminisce. It's nice to take a look back at an era that is not coming back. The music industry has yet to do a pivot. I have a good friend who is way more optimistic about things and always says, yeah, everything runs in a cycle, okay? So when's rock and roll coming back? Are we getting a rock band at halftime? Super Bowl? No, probably not. I'm not really that concerned about it anymore. It's just something that used to be part of American culture, where you'd have a rock band, but no longer. You have I don't know, bands designed for people who are 18 years old, bands that aren't really bands, who just get out there and sing to a track, which has been going on for quite some time. But you're not going to see the Who or the Rolling Stones or any old dinosaur bands showing up, even though I think demographically that's a smart thing to do. And there are really no next generation rock bands that fit the bill. Yeah, they'll do some pre-game festivities. They'll have Billy Idol or Joan Jett out there entertaining the crowd, the night before the game, and that's your close to halftime Super Bowl recognition. That's as close as they're going to get to anything. Even if they are there, they might not actually get a mention that they're there. I mean, people who have the tickets and are walking around the stadium, those are the ones who will know about it. Nobody on game day will know or care. And it just shows that the pivot hasn't happened. The pivot doesn't appear in sight. Melodic rock is still a thing in some countries. This band here from Germany, I get all kinds of stuff from Sweden and Denmark and a lot of countries, Italy, Spain. Parts of Europe really understand what we used to be about as a country, as far as the kind of music that people enjoyed. And again, my theory is the industry made a decision. This wasn't just about taste, because this music could have coexisted. You could have had the dark stuff and the melodic stuff side by side, just like in the 80s when you had new wave and Americana and all these different styles. Had bands like the Stray Cats. I mean, really, the Stray Cats? But yeah, people liked great music. Didn't matter necessarily about the style, so long as it was listenable and melodic, and you could sing along to it. This dark stuff today, it's depressing. And Sammy Hagar and Michael Anthony are still out there. I don't know for how much longer. Sammy has been talking about retirement a little bit these days. He'll probably just do the occasional show eventually, once he winds this thing down, probably in Cabo. But 75 years old, something like that, maybe older. I think he's around that age, and still looks good, still sounds pretty good for his age. And Michael Anthony by his side, which I think is amazing. But these guys really kept Van Halen together as a touring unit. And despite what was going on with Ed and maybe Alex, I'm not really sure, Balance is basically like the last stand for great melodic rock during a decade, which I think successfully destroyed the rock industry. But people will say, hey, some of this stuff today does really well. It sells lots of albums. Just doesn't make for good radio. I mean, you got to have some variety on the radio. You can't just have the darkness rule the day. You need something to offset that. You need, after eating one kind of food every so often, you need to kind of change it up and eat something else. And the industry just decided against that, and has kept things pretty much the same way ever since. Anyway, here's Bad Sister one more time. Where Will You Go? That's the title of their album. Had these guys on, did an interview last week with them, and great people who love this kind of music and believe in it. Apparently, though, it's made for geezers. They told me, hey, this is for people in our age group. This isn't a young band. These guys are probably around my age. They've been around since the early 80s creating music. And but it shows, though, that they know what they're doing, because the material is very good. All right. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications on new videos. Don't forget about Patreon and YouTube memberships as we move into 2023. Again, I want to thank everybody who continues to support this channel, and I will see you soon.